I cannot date a man that likes red pill content because red pill content is ruining the lives of young men. A lot of men are so afraid of being labeled a simp. They don't want to be labeled a simp that they will not treat a woman well. They won't even compliment a woman. They won't even be nice to a woman because they are so afraid of being a simp. The last guy that I talked to was an avid red pill watcher, and he was the same man that friend zoned me and wanted me to chase him, and why is he talking like this, acting like this, and he was watching that red pill content. And I'm telling you, it's keeping you men single. It is keeping you single.
This is I honestly believe this is a bigger conversation than what I can really do here, but I'm gonna try to get into a couple of points and, see where it goes. Okay, so you got the red pill, right? Shout out to the cats in the red pill. Y'all do y'all thing. What I do here is not red pill. What I do here is called game. What I do here is just general game, life game, not just dating game, but life game. You get what I'm saying? Like man game, like all of that. Everything that's included in all that. You get what I mean? Now, the thing with the red pill is that the red pill is still evolving. You understand? And it's crazy because from where the red pill started, you also see that a lot of the red pill stuff that's coming out now is actually moving closer and closer to general game. You get what I'm saying? But that, again, that's a whole nother conversation, right? But what I will say is this. There's a lot of young men that got exposed to red pill content. And what happened is they misunderstood a lot of the talking points, right? And there was a large part of the red pill that blamed other people, entities, society, and all this other stuff. There's a large part of the red pill that blames others for anything that's going on in your life. When at the end of the day, an actual man knows that anything that is wrong in his life is his fault. Anything that is right in his life is also his fault. That's what a man knows. That's called game. You understand? That's called understanding your masculine identity, where your character is so consistent, or at the very least, you're striving for that consistency, where you're so consistent that you understand that anything that's going wrong in your life is your responsibility, and anything that's going right in your life is also your responsibility, right? And we lead with gratitude. We discuss appreciation, consistency, and character, all these different things, which leads us back to game, not red pill. But what happens is a lot of the young men, they got lost in the sauce of blaming others. And when you blame other people, right, you give your power away because you got blame, right? So you blame someone. Another word for blame is responsibility. So if you blame someone for something, what you're saying is that whatever went wrong is their responsibility, right? But you're also saying that if it's their responsibility, then it's also in their power to fix it. So what you're saying is the person with the blame is also the person with the responsibility. And the person with the responsibility is also the person with the power. So there was a lot of red pill content that forced a lot of young men to give away their power. And so they misconstrued a lot of stuff, and it resulted in a lot of resentment and a lot of different unwarranted actions and thoughts by a lot of young men, which is a part of what's going on with this young lady. Now, other than that, and I hear guys say this a lot, they say, oh, well, red pill has to do with awareness, right? Now, like I said, red pill has evolved. And a lot of the talking points of red pill nowadays are closer to game, because game is undefeated. Everything always comes back to game. You understand? Game is undefeated because all the motivational speakers and philosophers since the Greek philosophers, since then, since the biblical days and all that, but since the BC times and all that other stuff, since then, they've been talking about game. You get what I'm saying? So game is undefeated. Game is literally just truth and identity, period. What begins to happen is a lot of the stuff that they learn as far as game is still lumped into red pill. And so you find that there are some guys out there that are starting to understand that they should be loving themselves, that they should be focused on their masculine identity, that they should not chase women, right? They should understand that they have all the value. They should understand that A man's purpose is to change a woman's life, and a woman is at the behest of a man. For example, a woman cannot get pregnant unless we choose it. For example, a woman cannot become a wife unless we choose it. You get what I'm saying? Like all these different things, I think a lot of young men are starting to realize, whether it's through Red Pill, whether it's through just finding different videos about stoicism or finding different videos about game. You know, if they come to guys like me, shout out to the other guys that really preach game or spit game. Shout out to Boss Mac. Shout out to Mr. 1950, Steve the Dean, Mr. Lucario, K-Zag and 20, Taekwondo, and myself, Miles Cunningham. There's a couple of other guys I might be missing, but it's really all about that game. And like I said, a lot of the red pill dudes, they started out with just red pill, red pill, red pill. But a lot of their talking points have been based in things that guys like me, what I talk about, like I said, which is game. And for me, more specifically, a masculine identity, knowing who you are, knowing exactly what you want. And once that happens, it puts a lot of women in a very precarious position, because this whole time they've been used to all these average nice guys that are focused on them and are trying to build rapport with them and make them comfortable and pedestal them, put them on a pedestal. This is what women have been used to for the last decade or so. And so with all these different channels and all this information about the true value of a man, you're starting to find that these young men are growing in their awareness of themselves. And as a man, once you grow in a certain awareness and confidence of yourself, it's hard for you to put a woman on a pedestal. And this is what is the result, where the woman is like, oh, he wanted me to chase him and he put me in the friend zone, or he stopped messing with me. He started ignoring me, and so on and so forth. Because like I said, for the last decade and a half, what they've been used to is the average guy with no masculine identity, who's just trying to follow the general rules of how to attract any woman. But see, here's the thing. Why would you want to attract any woman if you understand that you're not just any man? But see, that's the problem with so many average men. They feel as if, or they think as if they are any man, so they can just attract any woman. And the methods of doing that is very average, very cookie cutter, very accommodating to the nondescript female for no reason. And so you have a lot of women who they've been used to this bullshit. They've been used to being pedestaled. They've been used to being treated as if they're more important than they truly are. And now you have a demographic of young men coming up, whether like I said, whether it's red pill, game, masculine identity stuff or whatever. It's just a lot of information going out on the internet now, you know, getting men to understand a little bit more about their value, to understand a little bit more about their power. And so you have situations like this where the women is like, why are these dudes acting like this? What the hell is going on? And how come he's not putting me on a pedestal? How come he's not treating me like this? You hear what I'm saying? So that's really all this is. There's a certain evolution of men in general gathering all this different information. Like I said, whether it's from the pills side or it's from the game side, or there are guys that just look up stoicism, or they look up the teachings of Seneca and certain other, ancient philosophers, right? And they reach a certain level of awareness based on the education, based on the information, and they start to behave a little bit differently. So how they behaved when they first started dating, because of the information, they start to behave a little bit different. You understand? And I would love for more men to come over to the masculine identity / game side of things, because that's the most realistic, the most effective. And on top of that, it's a philosophy that reminds you that you have all the power. So like I said, anything going wrong in your life is your responsibility, meaning that it's your job to fix it if it's something going wrong. And if it's something's going right, the fact that something's going right in your life, it means that you have the power to maintain that because of gratitude, because of appreciation, and because of consistency, which are three main pillars of the masculine identity membership. And when a man understands his value and he's actually grateful for his value, he cannot come to treat women the same. He cannot come to treat anybody else the same, because he's too focused on how he treats himself. And once he realizes his own value and he puts himself in that pedestaled position where he used to put other things, he behaves differently. He thinks differently. He speaks differently. And so he provides an entirely different experience. And that's what's happening in this video. All right. So it's your boy, Miles Cunningham. Hope you got some from this video. Hope you're having a great day. Be good to yourself. Be grateful. And remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.